Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Monica Love here on the blackout. Yes. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to enter the chat. Of course, it is Monday, so I'm not expecting a lot of people to join. But do come on in, join us, sit down. Come on in, let's chat. This is going to be a really interesting topic that I've decided to choose today. And the title is about Mars going direct. Finally, Mars goes direct, and we had our final Pluto and Jupiter conjunction, which just happened. So I'm here to discuss a little bit about this and, what does it mean for us now moving forward? What does this all mean? So, hi, everyone. Come and join in. Feel free to check out in the description box. I put a link to the Google form, and the Google form is going to be a place where you can tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me a little bit about what you want to learn when it comes to astrology, when it comes to human design. And also, I provided a little paragraph there. So you could write down what you want to learn. Are you on this channel because you want to learn how to run your own business? Do you want to learn about yourself? Like, why are you on this channel? Why did you subscribe to this channel? Okay, so I do highly recommend everybody watching now and watching later to check out the link in the description box, okay? And there's a couple of questions that you can answer there, which is going to give you a rough idea of just giving you an idea of why you're here. Like, why are you on this channel, right? Now, I want to make a few announcements before I get started. I'm not expecting a lot of people to show up because it's Monday and I usually do this channel late at night, but unfortunately I'm super busy, so I don't have time to do these conversations at night, and I have to start getting on here and kind of showing myself. I know before I was doing the channel where, we just had the black screen and it was kind of like a podcast, but now I'm starting to get on because I have to start engaging with you. Okay. I have to start showing my face. I have to start, as much as I don't want to do that, I kind of have to do it. I don't have a choice. So a couple of announcements that I want to make. The first thing is that Mars finally has gone direct. After how long were we in retrograde with Mars? It was crazy. So I'm going to talk about that today, what that means, how, who is that affecting? How is that, what are the experiences that I had? Maybe if you'd like to share what your experiences were, whether you're watching this during the live or you're watching this after the live, you could leave a comment below. Number one, you can leave a comment below, or you can comment in the beautiful live that we have. We have 10 people in here. Oh my gosh. Congratulations, 10 people. I'm not worried about it because I know in the next couple of months when everything goes crazy again, people are going to come and watch this channel. So that's fine. So I'm going to talk about the Mars. And also I want to let you all know, like, part of this channel is to help you. Okay. It's a reference guide. This channel is a reference, right? So when you get here, if let's say something happened, with Mars retrograde and you go back and you say, oh, Mars retrograde, and you click on the video, then you're going to get an idea of what you can expect, so that when there's another Mars retrograde, you're kind of already aware of what's going to happen. So that's the whole point of this channel, right? It's a reference, it's an oracle, it's a guide for you. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Now, number two, I want to talk about the Pluto and Jupiter conjunction that just happened, which what I like to call it is, I like to say the worst is over. The worst is finally over. And I'm going to talk about that as well too, and how that may have affected you. So I'm going to talk about those two things. And the other thing I want to talk about before I get into that is how this channel is going to go moving forward. Okay. So there is going to be a course that's coming out. The course is not going to be free. Obviously, it's going to cost money. But I'm going to be selecting a very small percentage of people that are going to be my first students. Okay. Now, the reason why I put the, in the description, I put a link to a Google form is so that I can understand why you're on this channel. So do you want to start your own business? Do you just want to learn about yourself? Do you want to learn about other people? I know that the reason why I got into astrology originally was because I love studying people, and I like to make sure that I have control with who I deal with and how I deal with certain individuals, because once you know somebody and who they are and how they are, you kind of bypass a lot of crap, especially today when you're dealing with people. Now, one of the other reasons that you may be learning astrology is maybe because you are going through some sort of hard times in your life. I know for me personally, I went through a lot of hard times in my life. I went through very, very hard points in my life where I was depressed, didn't know my purpose in life, wasn't making any money, broke. Now, I'm doing pretty good for myself. Okay. 2 channels. One channel has over 100,000 subscribers on it. This channel has about 2,000 subscribers, not many yet. I just bought a brand new camera. Okay. We're going to be shooting in 4K. So you're going to get beautiful videos. You're going to get some beautiful videos to teach you how to do your birth chart, all of these things. So if you want to learn that, I have 20 plus years experience in astrology. I've been studying it. Ask me anything about astrology. I can give you all the answers. Okay. So I want to know about you. So please make sure you fill out the form in the description box, and that will be sent right to me, and then I'll get some feedback. Okay. So let's get started. There's about 15 people in here. So thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you for supporting the channel. So my name is Monica Love. I am an astrologist. I've been doing astrology for over 21 years. I also have a very successful, I wouldn't say very successful. There's more, there's more tarot readers out there that are more successful than me, but I know my purpose is here more so on this channel than anything else. So one of the things that I want to talk about today is the Mars retrograde. Okay, so what is the Mars retrograde? What does this mean? And of course, at the end of the discussion, I will leave the live open. Thank you everyone for commenting. I will leave the live open and you can ask me any questions in relation to these topics. Okay, so Mars went direct, I believe, yesterday, depending on where you are in the world. And a lot of the things that I was talking about was very much associated with the masculine energy. Mars rules the masculine energy, and the masculine energy is very much associated with our drive, our sexual energy, our drive, where are we going in life? What propels us to move forward? Now, for those of you who, whether you're male or female, it really doesn't matter. If you are a male, I could say this based on my experience. I've had a lot of guys acting weird during Mars retrograde, a lot of maybe exes coming back, and just people really going through this hard time. And the good thing is that all of this is going to be coming to an end. Okay, so Jupiter and Pluto had its final conjunction on November 5th. And Pluto is the planet of transformation. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. So anything Jupiter touches, it expands. So you could have seen maybe at the beginning of the month, a lot of crises going on, people moving around, a lot of crazy stuff. I know I noticed that, in the community. I've noticed a lot of tarot readers moving. I don't know if you all follow all the other tarot readers, but a lot of them were moving, okay, moving locations, being forced to move, being forced to change. Pluto is all about transformation. Okay, so whenever you see it in your chart, okay, when we're talking about the charts, and when we start doing the courses, we're going to talk about each and every planet and why it's where it is in your chart. Why is Pluto there? Why is Jupiter here? Why is Mars here? All of these all mean something. So when it's transiting, and what I'm talking about here right now on this channel is a transit. And if you don't know what a transit is when a planet is, because remember, all the planets are moving. Even right now, as I sit here and I speak to you, planets are moving. The sun is moving. The moon is moving. All the planets are moving. It's like people. We're always moving around, okay? So when we saw the transit in Capricorn, and Pluto was there and Jupiter was there touching, that's conjunction. That's what it means in astrology. When two planets are together, like this, it's called a conjunction. So this means that what the planets are trying to say, what they're trying to say to you is, it's time to change. You need to make changes. Pluto is all about transformation. It's associated with the sign Scorpio. In 1930, they discovered Pluto. Pluto wasn't always there. It was discovered in the 1930s when they had those really big computers. You know, they had the computers were literally probably the size of my desk, maybe even bigger. Okay. So the point that I'm trying to make is whenever you see Pluto in a chart, okay, that automatically says rebirth. It says, life, death, transformation. It talks about the sexual aspects as well, because Scorpio is associated with the sexual aspects. So a lot of the things that were hidden as well, I feel, to some extent, and remember, tarot and astrology are two different subjects. They may be similar to some extent, but if I'm reading tarot cards, that's not astrology, right? So, and this is why, a lot of people have the advantage of changing quicker because they're aware of this stuff. This is why it's also very important that you're aware of these things, because as we move into 2021, things are going to stop making sense. They're not going to make sense anymore. Okay. So we need astrology to help us make sense of things. And this is why it's been hidden for so long. Okay. So part of this last conjunction with Jupiter and Pluto is saying it's time to change. So if you've had some things, and I know some of you are watching here, you will resonate very much so with what I'm saying. If you are trying to work on yourself, because I know everybody who comes to this channel is trying to advance themselves to become the best version of themselves, you could have been forced almost into making a change, maybe getting rid of certain people in your life, maybe having to make a move, maybe having to, for me, I had to do a lot of organization in my studio. I had to start realizing, what? For me, I'm not the type of I don't care about looks. I mean, yes, looks are important. I do, quote unquote, but this is not my purpose. And I know this because I know my chart and I know why I'm here and I know why I'm, so then I don't waste time. You know what I mean? It's nice to try to follow everybody else and feel like you have to be like everyone else. But the good thing about all of you, 21 of you that are in this chat right now, all of you that are watching me right now, you're all unique. If you look at your hand, you have a very specific destiny in your life. And if you're trying to be like every single person, if you're trying to be like everybody else and you're copying everybody else, well, then we don't get to learn who you are. We don't get to see what you're supposed to be adding to the world. So the beautiful thing about astrology is that every single person's chart is unique. And that means you have a very specific destiny. Okay. So part of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is talking about this. It's talking about what do you need to change? What do you need to transform in your life? What are you being forced? Okay, because now it's saying, hopefully you got the wake-up call, because if you didn't get the wake-up call in the next 12 years, when Jupiter hits Pluto again, it's going to be even harder for you. Okay, so this is why you have to know astrology, so that when these conjunctions happen in the atmosphere, in the space, in the cosmosis, you are aware, and you could say, okay, I'll give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. I am the type of person, I sit behind a camera and I do tarot cards, and then I do my little podcast on here. But I said to myself, I actually got a psychic reading a couple of weeks ago. And I said to myself, oh, well, I'm an expert, but sometimes I like guidance as well too, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I guess I could call her a psychic. She said, why do you hide behind a camera? You have such a nice personality. Why are you hiding behind a camera? And I said to her, I'm just more comfortable behind the camera. I'm not really somebody who wants attention on me. I don't care about that. I don't care. I could do all of that stuff, but I don't care. And at that point, my intuition started to click in and said, you know what, you have to start showing yourself, because I have to interact with people. So that was my change that I made. That was my very big transformation, because I'm so used to being behind the camera. And I think that transformation is what's going to allow me to expand. So even though we're talking about Pluto, which is the planet of what? Transformation. Jupiter is in there, and Jupiter is saying, well, if you transform Pluto, if you transform this area of your life, you're going to be rewarded with this. But if you don't make that transformation, if you don't make that change, if you're not willing to adapt, and listen, this is where free will comes in, because a lot of people, they learn about astrology and they say, oh, I don't believe in that crap. I've heard it so many times. Oh, I don't believe in that crap. One day my horoscope's true, the next day it's not, of course, because you have 12 different signs, okay? And I can get into that and whatever, right? But if you are willing to really connect and learn why certain aspects are happening in space, then you can apply that to your life and know how to make the changes. Because it's like, how are you supposed to make changes if you don't know what you need to change? Well, the planets are going to speak to you, and the planets are going to say, this is where it's happening in your chart. Okay, is it happening in the first house? Is it happening in the second house? Is it happening in the third house? For wherever it's happening, that's the area that you need to focus on. A lot of people ask me all the time, they say, well, Monica, what about the houses in my chart that don't have any planets? Well, that's not your business. You're not supposed to be focusing on those, okay? For example, for me, one of the houses that I don't have any planets is the seventh house, which is all about marriage, and it's all about relationships. I don't need to be in a relationship. I don't need to be in a marriage, because I'm not here for that. So whenever you see planets in a certain area in your chart, that's where your focus needs to be. That's what your soul has contracted. The astrology chart is a contract. Look at it. Doesn't it look like a contract? I'm going to have to pull one up here and put it on the screen. But that's your birth contract. We talk about soulmates and twin flames and whatever contracts. Your contract is your map, your life map. Okay. So these are things that we're all going to be talking about. Okay. So Ruth asks a question. I'm not answering any questions now, but I'll answer this one because it's in relation to what I'm talking about now. Ruth says here, which house system do you use? Well, I use whole systems. So that means, if your ascendant is kind of in between the second and first house, I just use the whole system. And I don't do Vedic astrology. I do Western astrology. However, I have been recently looking up my Vedic chart, and they all correspond. Okay. It all corresponds. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that, but to answer your question, I use the whole house systems. Okay. So, like I said, if the ascendant's here and let's say the first house is kind of in between, I assume the ascendant's the first house, second house, you know what I mean? It's all whole systems. That's what it's called. Another thing too, I want to mention is I'm not going to get too technical on this channel, because the point of this channel is to help people who absolutely know nothing about astrology to learn the basics. And the reason why I've been called to do this, and for 21 years, I remember I was in school, I used to do horoscopes, and all the students would come around me, when I was in high school, and they would gather around like you all are gathering around now. And everybody would say, can you tell me about my sign? Can you tell me about my sign? And everybody wanted to know about their sign. So I know that this is part of my calling as a North Node Aquarius. I know astrology is definitely my calling. I hope with this channel that I can help you find your calling, maybe your purpose in life. Another reason too with this channel has a lot to do with mental health. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but mental health is a big thing. And one of the things that is going to, I wouldn't say cure, but I would say at least assist in mental health is knowing thyself. Know thyself. You have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, well, then you get taken advantage of, you lose time. You don't figure out what you're doing. You're all over the place. You're distracted. There's so many distractions today. So it's going to be really important that you transform. Okay. This is what the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is all about. So one of the questions I want to ask many of you, this is my question, whether you are watching now or you're watching later. What have you experienced in the last 2 weeks? From this time that you're watching this 2 weeks ago, what was forcing you to change? There's something that was forcing you to change. You didn't want to change. You didn't feel like changing, but you were almost forced to change. Maybe you were forced to move. Maybe you were forced to change your diet. Maybe you were forced to deal with a roommate, or maybe a family member, maybe a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or maybe you had to change something in your career, but something triggers you, okay? Because Pluto is not the greatest planet. It's actually my favorite planet in the whole entire zodiac, in the whole entire planetary system, because it's all about transformation. And when you transform as an individual, my goodness, that's where the true awakening happens. This is why in tarot we have Pluto. And I know I'm speaking very fast, so if you're watching this after the live, you can always slow me down a little bit if I'm getting too out there. This is why the Tower card, okay, in tarot, let me see if I can find the Tower card, and I will show you the Tower card, and I will talk to you, because this is what we're going to be doing in the courses, okay? In the courses, I'm going to be doing this. We're going to be going deep, okay? On this channel, we go deep. We don't, this isn't superficial astrology like all the other astrology channels. This is deep stuff, okay? I only talk about deep stuff. Not everybody is ready for the deep stuff that I talk about. Only certain people will be called to this channel. Other people that show up here and they click off, they're not being called. So the question now is, are you one of the chosen ones? The chosen ones understand every single thing that comes out of my mouth, and they're awakened by it. So you need to ask yourself, are you one of the chosen ones? If you are, you come here, you listen, you get something out of what I say. Here's the Tower card. This is Pluto, okay, in tarot. Notice what is happening in this card. What is happening? There's people falling out of a burning building. That there's lightning that strikes. Bam! It's like this. Bam! And it hits you. And this is what happens. That's what Pluto is. And I love it. People probably think I'm crazy. Oh my God, why would you? It's almost like, I almost think that whatever's going on in the world is Pluto. It's forcing us to change. And it's happening now. And you could even write this if you're an astrologer, you're becoming an astrologer, you're going to want to get a log, a booklet. Okay, I have a log somewhere here. I have to find it. And you start to write down the aspects. Okay, Jupiter and Pluto conjunct today. This is what's happening in the world. So that when Jupiter conjuncts Pluto again, you have a record. And you say, look, this is what happened during this time, and see if it happens again. Now, it's never going to happen the same way it happened before. Why? Because there's other planets in the sky that are communicating with those planets. So it's never going to be the same. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you a record, and it's going to give you an idea of what you need to change in order to improve yourself. Okay, so let's move over to, and I'll take some questions because I'm not going to be on here for too long. I have to go. I got some stuff that I need to do. What time is it? 4 o'clock. Okay. I just want to come on here and talk about this stuff because I haven't been on the channel for a while. So Mars now is going direct. So masculine energy, men. Let's talk about men. Now, if you're a man in this chat, I did a comment before for another male that commented. I'm not sexist, okay? I have a son, so I'm not sexist, and I have nothing against men at all, okay? But I need to comment about men, and I need to say something about men because there's been a lot of abuse of power, especially with masculine energy. Now, you could be a woman, you could be predominantly influenced by your masculine energy, or you could be a man and you're predominantly influenced by your masculine energy, whatever. The point is that masculine energy has been abused for a very long time. And this is why Mars had to go retrograde, because a lot of people wanted to always take action. Mars is what? The action-oriented planet. When Mars is retrograde, it's trying to ask you, where are you putting this energy? Where are you putting this energy? Are you abusing the masculine energy? Masculine energy is about power. It's about control. It's about war, okay? Mars. And it's funny because everybody, all these people with all this money, okay, and I'm not going to name names, you know who I'm talking about. All these people with money, they're going to space and they're going to Mars. Why do you think they're going to Mars? Think about it. There's an overpopulation on Earth now, okay? So there's a lot of things that you got to look at, and I can't go into it very deeply right now, but we will go into it over time. The main thing that you need to know is that the masculine energy, male energy has been going through an awakening for the past few weeks. It's been a very long time. And a lot of people, I'll give you an example. I had one person that I haven't talked to in 10 years. In 10 years, contacted me and said, "Oh, I saw you on YouTube. You're very successful." And do you know this person hasn't talked to me in 10 years? And there's somebody I used to date many years ago. So there's definitely some sort of awakening that's going on in the masculine energy, okay? And it could have a lot to do with, how they treated people from the past, how I dealt with someone from the past, how I, abusing energy, going from this woman to this woman to this woman and bouncing here and bouncing there. This is masculine energy that's being abused. And we've seen it in the media as well, too. So there's a lot of things that men have recently gone through, or people who predominantly deal with masculine energy. This is what they've gone through. They're awakening. How do I take this masculine energy and direct this masculine energy? Am I abusing the masculine energy? Am I abusing the feminine energy through the masculine energy? Am I abusing power? Because Mars is also about power. It's also about where you're putting your power. Okay. And this is also very, very much connected to the divine feminine. It's very much connected to Venus, the planet Venus as well, too. And Venus goes retrograde as well, too. And she communicates as well, too. But the point is that Mars is now direct. So this is now what it means is we have a clean slate. We're able to start all over again. Okay. And this means that moving forward, we cannot abuse the Mars energy. We have to think very logically. Okay. How do we keep this energy in balance? And what I'm going to start teaching you all is how to look at this energy in your own chart, because the purpose of this channel is to create autonomy. And if you don't know what autonomy is, please go and look it up. Autonomy is going to teach you how to self-govern yourself. Why am I here? Why was I born? What is my purpose? What do I need to fix in this lifetime? Because you all come here to fix something. You all come here to fix something. You have a contract. You're given a contract when you're born. And before you're born, you have this conversation, okay, with, you can call them ascendant masters, you can call them God, you can, whatever you believe in, because everybody believes in different things. All we are as humans is vessels, okay? So it's very important that when you come to this channel, recognize why you're coming here. You're not coming here for me to tell you you're going to win $1 million next week. That's not why you're here. You're here because you're learning how to be the best version of yourself and how to complete that contract. Okay, this is what it is. Now, I want to thank everybody who's donated to my other channel, who's made it possible for me to make this channel, because I wasn't able to make this channel without having followers, okay, without having people watching what I am saying in order to better the world. This is my purpose, and I want to help you find your purpose. Major happenings that happened. Like I said in the description box, there is a form that I want everybody to try to go there and fill it out so that I can get more information on why you're here and how I can be of service to you. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift over to questions now. Okay. I'm going to be on for 30 seconds. If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask pertaining to this topic, if you're asking me about personal things about your personal birth chart, I don't answer that on here because this is a general video and I need it to be able to apply to as many people as I can. But if you'd like to get to know your personal chart more with me, then I highly recommend you go down to the description box, fill out the form. Okay, let me know who you are. I will get that form and then I will have an idea of what you need to learn, okay? Because there's a form there and I want everybody to be included in that. The other thing too, before I take any questions, is I am in transition right now, okay? I'm shooting on my 1080p webcam, which is garbage. It's shit. It's crap. I'm actually waiting for some equipment. So once I get the equipment, I'm going to be doing editing. I'm going to be uploading. Probably going to look a little more put together than I do now. And then I'm also going to be doing a podcast. So there's a lot of updates that are going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. that I want you all to be a part of. Okay, so if you want to learn this stuff, and I know a lot of people do, you got to be subscribed to the channel. Okay, all right. Yeah, so make sure you fill it out. Make sure that you remember why you're here. You're not here just to watch my beautiful, pretty face. I'm such a nerd. Aren't I? Take the glasses off. There, do I look a little better now? Yeah, I know. The glasses make me look nerdy, right? That's not the real me. Okay. Good. Thank you for filling your forms out. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for that. Can you talk about YOD? What is YOD? Can you explain to me the yod? Are you talking about the finger of God? Because there's the finger of God in astrology, which is considered the yod. So I don't know if you're talking about that. I actually have 21 years of astrology experience. So you could be talking about anything and I'll understand what it is. Okay. So, yes. Okay. You're so sweet. Thank you. Okay. Human design. I bought the book. When does the class start? Perfect. Okay. So, yes, about the course, I'm actually going to be we're going to start very soon. I'm going to be doing a brief, I don't want to say it's not a course. Okay. It's going to be a brief overview on the channel. I'm not going to go in depth with everything. And I'm going to explain to you why, because not everybody can digest this information. The information that I'm going to teach you in human design. Let me just actually see if I can get my book. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm going to see if I can get my book. Give me 1 second. I don't even know if I have it here. Let me see if I could find it. I have tons of books here. Yes. Here we are. Okay. So here's the book that we're going to be learning from. If you haven't, thank you so much, actually, Dee, for mentioning this, because I didn't know how many people were interested in it. But knowing that you got your book, you're one step closer to learning about yourself, and you're one step closer to learning about others. I'm going to I found this book in 2000. Well, I learned human design in, are we still on live? Can everybody hear me? If you could hear me, if you could see me and hear me, just type yes in the live chat so that I can make sure you're here, because there was a little bit of a disconnect. Okay. I'm going to tell you a little story about this book. So this book, I learned human design in 2016, and I was in my basement apartment. Okay. And I just got out of a bad relationship, and I was really depressed, and I was alone. And I said to myself, I was sitting in my bed, and I said to myself, why am I here? What's my fucking purpose? Why am I here? Why do I feel so hopeless? What is my purpose? Why do I feel rejected all the time? Why do I feel like nobody cares about, like, all these things that a depressed person would say, right? Then I found this book, Human Design, and it's by a guy who's actually Canadian, who's from Quebec, and I'm Canadian. Right? So when I found this book, I thought it was crazy. And then I started to study this guy. And, you can go and you can study, his name is Ra Uruhu. And I learned about him. Then I learned that I'm a projector. I'm a projector. So in human design, we're going to be talking about the different types. And I'm going to briefly go over this. Now, why do you want to learn about this stuff? Why do you want to learn about the mandala and all of this stuff? Well, because you want to know something. I meet people all the time, and I know who to avoid, and I know who to give my time to. I know who to avoid and who to give my time to. People who are not advancing themselves, people who are not becoming the best versions of themselves, I don't waste my time with them. I don't, because they're not awake, right? So I started to learn that I needed to preserve my energy, okay? And I learned that all through this book. So there's different types. I'm going to briefly talk about this. And thank God we're getting the new camera, because this thing goes blurry all the time, and it's really annoying. Okay, so here's the different types. Briefly, I'm going to briefly talk about this quickly. Let's do it quick. Okay, let me see if I can get all the types here. So in the book, you're going to see, okay, so here's a human design graph. Okay, this is what we're going to be studying. This is your body, okay, and this is how your body functions. Everybody has different functions in their body. Okay, so for example, we have the projector. The projector. I'm a projector. The projector is somebody who does not have a sacral in the center. Okay, so are you a projector? Does anybody know who they are? Are you a projector? If you're not a projector, well, then you're something else. Maybe you're a manifester. So there's a projector, there's a manifester. What else do we have? We have projectors, we have generators. Are you a generator? If you don't know who you are, that's the first step. You need to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, who's going to tell you who you are? You think I'm going to tell you who you are, or are you going to figure out who you are? Generator, okay? Then we have the projector. Then we have, who else do we have? We have the reflector. Are you a reflector? What type of vessel are you? If you don't know this stuff, then you don't know anything, okay? So, right. So Dawn says, I'm a generator. So what do generators do? Okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about in the course. So what I'm going to do in the next few days, okay, there's manifesting, you could be a manifesting generator too. There's 5 different types, okay? So what I'm going to do in the next few days, I'm going to come online and I'm going to be starting to, I'm going to do some announcements in the community section. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so that you can get updates. And I'm going to talk about brief points. And this is why you have to fill out the, in the description box, there's a link. Go there and tell me what you want to learn. The more people that answer that, fill out that form, it's going to give me an idea of what I need to focus on. Because remember, this information, there's a lot of info. Look how big this book is. This book is not small, okay? Neither is my other astrology book. I have another astrology book. It's about this thick, and that's only one book out of like thousands of books that I've read. So I need you to go there and fill that form out to tell me what you want to learn. Now, one of the things that we're going to be learning is we're going to be learning about the 5 different types of human design. You know, what's the percentage of the world? Because there's a percentage of people that are certain types, okay? Majority of people in the world are either manifesting generators or they are generators. And if you are an energy type, then you're going to want to know how you need to use your energy, okay? Wendy says, how much? I don't know yet. I have to see how many people are going to be interested in this stuff, right? And I don't want to just throw prices out there because, listen, I can take your money and teach you, but if you're not going to take the information that I teach you and actually put it to use, then it's kind of not really benefiting you. And for me, money is great, but money is not the only thing I want. This is actually a passion of mine, and I actually want to help people. So I need to make sure that when you are coming on to this team, this is a team, okay? You're coming on for the right reasons, okay? Are you coming on because you want to learn about yourself? Are you coming on because you want to do a business? So it's going to be different, right, for everybody. Some people just want to learn this stuff because they want to help other people like I do. That's the only reason why some people want to learn. Some people actually want to learn about themselves. Some people want to learn about themselves, but they also want to make money at the same time. Because I know, and I'm just saying this from my personal perspective because I'm a businesswoman. Everything I do is business, but I look at business differently. I look at business as helping people. I don't look at business as, oh my God, I'm going to take advantage of this person. I'm going to take their money. No. That's not me. And it never will be me. Okay. I'm the type of person, I want to help people. And I want to make sure that when I'm giving the information, they're taking that information, they're applying it. Okay. So over the next few days, we're going to be discussing this. I'm also going to have private webinars. Okay. I'm going to have webinars that are free as well too. So you could go through the webinar, and that's when I'm going to discuss what is going to be included. Now, one of the things I want to mention is that if you do decide to take this course with me and you decide to be a part of the school, there's going to be different things that are going to be available to you. First of all, you're going to be a lifelong student in my school. Okay. Once you're in for life, number one. So if there's new content that's added to the course, you're going to have access to that unless you decide to cancel, which is kind of silly, because if you cancel, that's silly. Why would you want to cancel? So there's going to be a lifelong membership. Number two, if you want to join my consulting firm, there's going to be a consulting firm. You'll have your own page and you'll be able to do one-on-ones with people. I'm going to teach you how to do one-on-one. We're going to also have the tarot course as well too. So if you want to learn tarot, you want to learn human design, you want to learn astrology, you want to take all that knowledge and become a consultant and say, look, I'm a consultant. I'm my own business. I'm my own, I've studied with Monica Louv for, a year or two, and now I'm ready. I'm ready to have my own office. I'm ready to add this to my business. I don't know where you're at. And this is why I need to know where you're at in order to understand how I can give you this knowledge and apply it to your life. Okay. So we will be talking about this. Now, Dee said the book was $50. I don't know where you are, if you're in the States or you're in Canada or you're internationally anywhere else in the world. My book, I believe it was $100 that I paid for this, and I bought it a couple of months ago. I'd say over 6 months ago, maybe last year I bought it. But I'm continuously learning from this book every single day. I'm learning from it. So it's an investment. If you're not willing to put in the money and you're not willing to invest, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, a lot of people want stuff for free on YouTube, but you need to invest in yourself. This is going to be really important. This is the book, Human Design by is Ra Uruhu. He's a Canadian, and I'm not sure who this lady is, but she's an international human design school expert. So you're going to want to pick up this book, because if I come on, let's say in the next few days, and I'm like, okay, everyone, we're going to talk about generators. Where's the page for generators? Find the page for generators. What page is it? Let's look it up. You have to know. You have to know this stuff. Okay. You don't have to know it, but if you're smart, you're going to know it, so that when 2021 hits and you're feeling all depressed and you're feeling like you're hopeless and you don't understand the world, well, it's because you understand yourself. Start learning and understanding yourself, and then everything else will follow. Okay. So enough about that. I will come on the next few days to organize that and to make sure I find the right people to get that going. So now 30 seconds, because I have to run soon. Does anybody have any questions in regards to anything that I've mentioned? Now, if there's questions about the human design, if there's questions about astrology, anything else, please do not hesitate to talk to me here, because you're live with me now. Everybody who watches this later is not going to have the opportunity to ask me a question. So if you don't remember your questions, write them down, and then when I come on, you can ask me questions, okay? So anybody have questions about Mars going direct or Pluto Jupiter conjunction and what this means? If it's about your personal chart, don't ask me about your personal chart, because not everyone's going to have the same chart as you. So we need to keep it very general, very general. So I'll wait 30 seconds for anybody to comment. So did anybody comment before? Okay, so so somebody asked a question here, Soul J. Hi, Monica. Do you know what will happen on December 21st, 2020? Can you please do a video about the event? Yes, I can. Woo! Thank you. I love that question. Yes. So I'll tell you, the Great Conjunction is happening then, and I believe it is, correct me if I'm wrong, I have to do some research, but I believe Saturn and Jupiter are going to be conjunct on the 21st. I believe it's in Aquarius. Correct me. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But the Great Conjunction is talking about another similar conjunction to what we went through with Pluto and Jupiter. And remember how I was saying Pluto and Jupiter have a lot to do with us being forced. Tower moment, everybody. Tower moment. We're being forced to awaken. We're being forced to make changes. This is what the tower is all about. If you look at the tower, you will see two people literally falling out of a burning building. You have one person here that's falling and another person that's falling. And they didn't even expect this to happen because the lightning hits it. And this is Pluto right here. So the Great Conjunction has a lot to do with Let me pull it up. You give me 1 second, because I don't remember all this stuff, right? Everybody has other. Okay. Great conjunction. Let me just see what the planets are here. Great conjunction. Right. Yes, I was right. Okay. Great conjunction is a conjunction of planets, Jupiter and Saturn. Yes. Okay. I knew I was right. I usually am right. Barely am I ever wrong about things when it comes to astrology. So Jupiter and Saturn, when they conjunct, let's talk about it. I'm going to do another video on it, but I'll talk about it here briefly. So Jupiter, and I'm going to ask questions. Make sure you have your listening ears on. What does Jupiter represent in astrology? Can anybody answer? Oh, and also I forgot to mention, we're going to be doing trivia on the channel. So make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be doing some giveaways. So whoever can beat everybody else on the channel will get a gift from me. Okay. What does Jupiter represent? So Wendy says, do you purchase the book now? Yes, purchase the book now so that you're well in advance prepared. When I come on and I start talking, you're not lost. Okay, make sure you're prepared. Soul J says expansion. Yes, expansion. Jupiter represents expansion. It also represents luck. It represents expansion. That's why people who have a very dominant Jupiter in their chart tend to be bigger people. They tend to make money very easily. Jupiter, whatever Jupiter touches, it expands, right? And what does Saturn represent? Does anybody know what Saturn represents? We're just talking about the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction now. We want to keep it very simple, because here's another thing with astrology. People tend to get too overwhelmed, okay? People get too overwhelmed. We need to not be too overwhelmed, because when you become too overwhelmed, you don't learn that way. Your brain becomes flooded with too much information. You got to slow it down, okay? Let's slow it down a little bit. Yes. So you all answered very correctly. This is great. You're all now ready for the trivia, which is going to be quite interesting. So a lot of you said restrictions, karma, discipline, structures, government. Yes. So what is going to happen at that point? And you could do your own research, or you could think, use your brain. Let's think. Pluto or Jupiter expansion, Saturn restrictions. That means by the time December 21st hits, there's going to be more restrictions. Aren't they talking about that already? Oh, they said where I'm from, I'm in Canada, okay? And the cases in Canada are not that high, but they're saying that they're potentially going to lock down the whole entire province by December. Saturn talks about heavy karma. It talks about restrictions. It talks about, you better do this, because if you don't do it, I'm going to force you to do it. I'm going to take the javel and I'm going to force you to do it. Jupiter expansion. The only way you're going to become lucky and expand and become a better person is through somebody going in and putting a restriction on you. It's forced. So what's going to happen in December 21st, and this is why you have to be prepared for all this stuff, is you need to be prepared for lockdown. You need to be prepared to be told what to do. Governments are going to come in and say, you better not take your mask off. You better do this. You better do that. And there's going to be people who rebel, depending on what the other planets are communicating, what is happening. And somebody said it in here. Somebody said, well, isn't there more planets that's going to be conjunct in that area? Of course. Because by 2024, where's Pluto going to be? Pluto's going to be in Aquarius. And that's going to be even more restrictions and more changes, more towers in 2024. So you got to be prepared for all of this stuff. Saturn is the person, the planet. Think of Saturn this way: the stop signs, the stoplights, the police officers, the Matrix. You know what the Matrix is ruled by? Saturn. Go watch the Matrix. It's all structures. Saturn is all about structure. So if you're not prepared to endure the structures that are going to be imposed on you by December 21st, well, then you're not awake. And this is why a lot of people are lost, and people are losing their jobs left, right, and center. They're in situations they can't get themselves out of. They're suffering and they're struggling because they're not aware of these things. Now, if you study where this is happening in your chart and you know it, you're going to be able to predict things. Anybody can predict things if they study and they do their research. So this is what we're going to be talking about in the courses. Now, I'm not going to sit here and do everything because not everyone's going to listen. But if they pay, then they're going to listen because they're putting their money and they're investing in themselves. So it's going to be really important that you get this information. Okay. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough to you because for me, I'm good. You know, I know I can open a book and I know what the book is talking about. I can open the book and say, okay, I know what Saturn and Jupiter is in my chart here. I know what this means, so I can avoid X, Y, and Z. When you know astrology, you can literally avoid misfortune in your life because you know already. It's like me saying to you, don't go over there because there is a hole in the ground, and if you go over there, you're going to fall in that hole and you're going to die. Well, you already know because you've already got the information. So you avoid that pitfall. You take the detour, you go around the bend, and you avoid the pitfall. That's what astrology is. This is why Queen Elizabeth on D, go look it up. She had her own astrologer. This is why the British Empire is still in power today, okay? They don't want you to learn this stuff. Bottom line, okay? So what's going to happen in December 21st when Saturn conjuncts Jupiter? More restrictions. You think we have restrictions now? Wait till December. You're going to see more. You're going to see more restrictions. You're going to see more mandates. You're going to see more. And now that the government is changing, especially for you Americans that are watching me, you're going to be even more restricted. Canadians were already restricted. It may seem like we're free, but we're not. Okay. Anyways, that's another topic for another evening. But any other questions about that? Does that clarify what you asked me there? I hope that answered your question. Okay. Valentina said, bad luck, isn't it a malefic planet? Yes, Saturn is a malefic, but you know what? Malefic planet. Because you can always listen, you know what smart people do? Smart people turn a bad thing into a good thing. That's what a smart person does. They don't look at the bad. You know, you could look at what we're going through now in the world as a bad thing, or you could look at it as a good thing. How do you approach the situation? A smart person thinks like that. Smart person says, malefic planet. Okay, I'm going to turn this into a benefic. Okay. So that's how we do it on this channel. Okay. Okay. Yes. So Soul J asked another very interesting question. And the question is, does the age of, let me put my grandma glasses on to protect my eyes. I actually don't need glasses. I just wear them for fashion. The question here is, does the age of Aquarius begin on December 21st? Well, not necessarily. I would say the age of Aquarius is more or less, let me explain something to you. Okay. And can I explain this? Can I explain it? Okay. Let me explain it. There's a song go look it up. There's a song in the 1970s called The Age of Aquarius. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. Age, and I can't put it on here because the channel is monetized now, so I don't want to get demonetized because of it. So I'll just pull it up and give you the information. Age of Aquarius song in 1970. 1970. We're in what, 2020 now? Okay. The song is called Age of Aquarius, the Fifth Dimension. Fifth Dimension. And in the 70s, they came out with this song that goes, The Age of Aquarius. I don't know how to sing. I'm going to try to sing. But that song came out in the 70s. If you're asking me if we're going into the Age of Aquarius now, it's quite evident that we're not. Because how come this song came out in the 1970s? This song came out in the 1970s and we're in 2020 now. This was predicted many years ago, before you were probably even born, before I was born. because people like Nostradamus and all these astrologers predicted these things to happen. You know why they predicted things? Because they use the planets. So are we going into the age of Aquarius? No, we've been in the age of Aquarius for quite some time now. We've been preparing for it. We're about to go into it, but I believe that we were already in it for quite some time now. And you don't have to see something to believe it. You could just be in it in your mind and create it in your mind. And this is where everything starts. Everything starts in here. Aquarius is talking about, because the Aquarius is very much associated with future. So when they made this song and when they were talking about the age of Aquarius, they've already talked about the future, because Aquarius is the future. The age of Aquarius, that's where we're going. Okay. So we've always been in the age of Aquarius for quite some time, maybe even by the 60s, because the 50s, technology really started to come in the 30s. Okay. And I can go into this and I can talk about aliens and all that stuff and all the spiritual stuff. This is what they say. They say that aliens brought technology to Earth, and the governments and all that, they did exchanges and stuff like that, and that's where the big computers came in, right? Because Pluto is associated with those big computers. Now the technology that's the latest technology, like the nice slim laptops and all the 4K cameras and all of Aquarius, is like the upscale technology, whereas Pluto is more of like the old school. It's technology, that transformation, but it's a different type. Okay. So I don't believe that we're moving into the age of Aquarius. I believe we've been in the age of Aquarius. We've been warned that we're going to be in this age. And this is why I don't like to say it, but the stuff that's going on in the world right now is very much connected to the change of going into the age of Aquarius. But a lot of people want to still live in the past, and they want to go back to how things used to be. Oh, I want to go back to when we didn't have to cover our phases, and when we could do whatever we wanted and we didn't have to stand in line and stand 6 feet apart. And I want to go back to that. Well, no, we're probably not going to go back to that, because there's going to be new restrictions that are implemented. Why? Because we are advancing, and now there's more people on the planet. And this is another reason I can go very deep into why the world is in the shamble that it is in right now. Because yes, we are going into the age of Aquarius, but I believe we've already kind of been in it, because you could see, you got to look at the signs. Okay. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. Do your research. That's the whole point of you being on this channel, is to do your own research, to start to really open your ears and open your mind and really understand why all of this is happening. Because nothing is hard to understand if you open your mind and learn it. Okay. So let's answer some more questions. Thank you for your question, Soul J. I like your questions, and those are the questions that I want to see on this channel, because I want you to start using your brain and thinking. Okay, this is the whole point of this channel. Okay. Yes, Valentina says they are. I remember you said this in a different video. Yes, I'm warning you all. And I'm not saying this to scare people, okay? I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this so that you are constantly aware of your growth and your expansion, because I'm going to tell you, there's two types. This is what my father always told me, okay? My father and I used to have very long conversations about this stuff. There's two types of people in the world, okay? There's the people that are awake, that are sleeping, and then there's the people that finally wake up and get on with life. What category do you want to be in? You want to be the ones that's sleeping, or you want to be the ones that is expanding your mind? Choose which field you want to be on. You can't be on both. So you really got to start opening your brain on this. Okay. Okay, so Pearl, yes. Sierra says, saw a video where they're going to try to impose cashless society. Yes, because they want to put more restrictions. There you go, Saturn, restrictions right there. Okay, so Pearl says, which tarot card relates with Saturn? Saturn is related to, usually Saturn is associated with the earth signs. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But the devil is very much associated with Saturn, the devil energy, with Capricorn. But here's the thing. Let me explain something to you when it comes to tarot and astrology. Tarot and astrology, it's like putting physics and biochemistry and trying to compare the two. You can't. You can't. Because physics talks about speed and velocity, whereas chemistry and biology, or just chemistry alone, talks about the chemical reaction. It talks about chemicals. So you can't really put two disciplines side by side and compare them. To some extent, they're going to have some sort of relation, yes, but you can't compare the two. Because why? And I'm going to tell you why. The moon in tarot represents Pisces, hidden things, illusions. In astrology, the moon represents Cancer, whereas in tarot, the chariot represents Cancer. You know what I mean? So you can't compare the two. You're going to get very confused like that. If you're learning tarot, I suggest learn tarot and then learn astrology. Or if you're learning astrology, learn astrology and then learn tarot. The beautiful thing about human design is that this is like one discipline in many. Okay. Human design is a combination of the I Ching. I don't know if you know the I Ching, astrology, everything is in here. The chakra system, we'll talk about that more, okay? So try not to mix the two because you're confused that way, and it's two different systems. Yes, Melanie Jones says, you do more videos on north and south nodes in the houses. Yes, absolutely. We're going to be talking about that stuff. But keep in mind, if you want to know everything, I'm not going to be putting everything on the channel. Why? Because not everybody is going to understand this information, and not everybody's going to pay attention. People are going to come, people are going to go. People are going to come, people are going to go. Why? Because people don't have attention spans anymore. People just want to go here, there, and everywhere. And this is another reason why the great conjunction that's happening, Saturn and Jupiter, is going to force people to become focused, because that's one of our issues now, right? Lacking focus, lacking direction, lacking structure. You know, I'm going to give you an example. I just went to get a sandwich from the store, and they weren't even wearing hair nets on their hair. And I'm saying to myself, where is the discipline here? You know, where is the following the rules? People are starting to get lazy. They're starting to get lax. They don't want to do things. Great conjunctions coming. You're going to be forced to do it. You're going to be forced, right? But I will do more videos on South and North Node. Don't worry. Yes. Yes. Sierra says it's going to be better for humanity. Absolutely, because we need structure, and structure brings what? Expansion. Structure brings benefits. A lot of people look at structure as a bad thing. I don't want to be forced to do something. I don't want to have to feel like, I don't want to be controlled. A lot of people don't want to be controlled. But if you leave people to their own demise, they're going to kill themselves. I mean, it's like humanity. We don't care. We put a mask on our face and then we throw the mask on the floor instead of recycling the mask so that it betters the environment and betters the animal population and humanity. People go and they do whatever they want. They litter, they pollute, and then they wonder why the world is the way it is. You're a reflection of who you are, right? You're a reflection of the world. Okay. So. Okay, Sierra says, are we going to be a cashless society? Probably. And the reason why I say we're going to be a cashless society is because that, again, it has a lot to do with control. The government wants to know, okay? The government wants to know where you're putting your money. How's the money being spent? Where is it going? When you're doing cash, nobody's tracking that. So again, this is another form of control. And Venus is an earth sign and Saturn is an earth sign. Okay, it's power, right? You see how it works together? Earth signs stay with earth signs. Water signs stay with water signs. Fire stays with fire and air stays with air. These are the elements that we're going to be learning, okay? Basic elements. So to answer your question, are we going to be a cashless society? I believe we will be at some point, yes. Yes, Wendy says, thanks for dumbing it down. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what this whole entire channel is about. It's because nobody is doing this on YouTube. Nobody is dumbing it down. So I'm going to dumb it down, but I'm going to dumb it down even more in my courses. And I want to also mention to you, when you purchase my course and invest in yourself, you will get a one-on-one with me. Only people who are part of my school get to be one-on-one, either a phone call or a Skype, a live video where you can ask me whatever about your chart and about your studies, okay? So not everyone's going to have access to me. Not everybody is going to me. Not everyone's going to be able to speak to me or talk to me unless they're in my school, okay? And I have to do that because if I didn't do that, I would have a lineup of people who would just literally not even care about the information I'm giving out. So I have to be very limited on my time and my expertise on who I'm giving that to, okay? Especially because I have 21 plus years. I'm actually a guru in this stuff, so I'm quite confident in what I do. Okay, so what else? Yeah. Sierra says, heard that the vaccine, they're going to be able to track your every move, contain things. Yeah. It's already happening now. So you can't say that you don't know what's going on when it's right there in front of your face. And you know why society has gotten to this? Society has gotten to this point because people are reckless and they're careless and they don't care. People do not use of power. Mars retrograde. For 6 weeks, we went retrograde with Mars. Do you know how many people were depressed in the last 6 weeks? They didn't even know what to do with themselves, you know? And it's because we are going through an awakening. This is part of the awakening of what we're going through. Okay? So the reason why you need to know this information I'm giving you is priceless, by the way. It is priceless. It's going to live with you for the rest of your life. When you're 90 years old, you're going to have this knowledge in your brain. You're going to be able to teach your children's children this knowledge so that moving forward, everybody is supposed to be aware of this knowledge. Every single person should have their chart on their refrigerator every day, and they should be studying their chart. I always ask myself, when I was in university and I was a counselor, I was nominated as a mental health counselor in my university. That I didn't finish university, by the way. I dropped out because I'm not meant to be in university. And that's another story for another evening. But what I want to mention, let me just check the time because I got to go soon. What I want to mention here is that I asked myself, and I asked the dean in the university, and I said, why are students not learning about astrology? Why? And they couldn't give me an answer. Because if you learn astrology, you're going to know a lot about yourself. And they don't want you to know anything about yourself. They want to program you. They want to teach you how to be distracted. And they don't want you learning a bloody thing. And this is what leaves humanity lost, not achieving, basically copying everybody else. We talk about, there's never going to be any more inventions. Of course, there's going to be more inventions. When people start to know who they are, how are you supposed to invent something if you don't know who you are? If you don't know why you're here? Get this book so you can learn who you are, okay? Book, and then we're going to be doing astrology as well too, all right? So I'm going to spend another about 20 seconds and any more questions, and then I got to go because I have some things that I need to take care of. Sierra says they're damaging our world. Well, you know what? You know what you could do? You can contribute and help undamage the world. That's what I'm doing with this channel. I'm helping undamage the world. I'm helping to bring awareness. And through me making you aware, you can make someone else aware. And then it's a domino effect, okay? So we're going to make changes, but the change starts with you, right? You need to go within and you need to change yourself first so that you can help change other people. Okay. All right. Okay. Valentina says, I'm already seeing a lot of jobs, self-checkouts. We have been seeing this coming for a while as well. The new age, technology taking over. Yes, that's the age of Aquarius right there. So we knew that this was going to happen. Since the 70s, we knew this was going to happen. So this is why I don't believe that the age of Aquarius just showed up now. We've been in this age since the 70s, since the 60s. We've been in this age for quite some time, since the 50s even. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're removing a lot of school systems, replacing classes with mediocre classes. Yes, of course. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, good question. Valentina says, what about life path? Yes, that's numerology. So numerology is a completely, again, it's another discipline. And like I said to all of you, when you look at, first of all, this channel, let me talk about this channel for a second. This is an esoteric channel. That means we don't have any hidden knowledge, okay? I'm going to name a few. We talk about numerology. Now, numerology, which is associated with your life path, we're not going to talk about that till later because that's stuff that you can literally look up and it's just there. With astrology, there's so much more to talk about. We're talking about planetary movements, aspects, all of these things. So it's going to be really important that you know the difference between all of these disciplines. Now, if you look at the main disciplines, you have mathematics, you have science, you have astrology. All of these are different disciplines. Now, you cannot compare the two. You cannot say, well, if this means this in tarot, then this is what it means in astrology. No, that's like saying, well, if this means this in physics, then this is what it means in biology. No, because biology and physics are two different subjects. It's like numerology is a different subject, astrology is a different subject, human design is a different subject, tarot is a different subject. I Ching is a different subject. Chakra system is a different subject. Transits, Vedic astrology, Western astrology, those are all different things. So you cannot, it's like taking me and comparing me to somebody else who's completely different from me. It's like taking a Canadian and comparing a Canadian to an American. It's two different types. It's two different types. You could say they're both humans. You could say they both live on Earth, but they're two different subjects. Okay. So we really need to be aware of these things. And I don't like the other thing too is I don't want to overwhelm all of you. I want you to be able to really follow along. This is why I'm saying this channel is going to be a long channel. It's not going to be, I teach you astrology in one day and you learn everything. No, that's not how it works. We learn over time on this channel and we learn what's really beautiful about this is we learn together in groups, which I love. I love being in groups. I love working with everybody to create this. Okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. And yeah. Okay. 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 So Mina says, when is the course going to start? I don't have a date yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing the course live. Okay. And then it's going to be a prepaid course for those of you. So if you want to be in this course coming up, you're going to want to make sure that you fill out the form in the description box. There's a form in the description box, which is an astrology form. I have it here and it's called Astrology Course Plus Human Design. And it says, fill out this form so your voice can be heard. Why do you want to learn and what do you want to learn when it comes to astrology, human design, and self-development? So I highly recommend for those of you who want more information about this, I want you to go down to the description box. I want you to click on that, fill that form out, and then I want to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. The courses, there's going to be enrollment periods for the courses. I'm not going to be taking a lot of people. It's only going to be a set amount of people because every time that you join into the school, let's say I have 20 spaces of enrollment, those 20 people are going to work very closely with me. I'm not going to be taking hundreds of students because this is not a course for everybody. Not everybody is going to learn about this knowledge because not everybody can. Listen, you can learn this knowledge, but how are you going to use this knowledge? Some people are going to use it for good. Some people are going to use it for bad. Hopefully you use it for good, okay? Because this is very powerful knowledge. It's very powerful information that we're getting here. And you're going to want to make sure you know what you're doing, okay? So everybody is going to be screened and there's going to be an enrollment period, meaning if you don't enroll in that period of time, you have to wait until the next enrollment happens because I cannot give all my energy to thousands of people. It has to happen over time. Now, if you don't care to be one-on-one with me, maybe you're like, I don't care to have a one-on-one with you, Monica. You're not that important. Okay, that's fine. You could join the courses, but they're going to be pre-recorded, meaning you're not going to get the one-on-one with me unless you enroll during the opening enrollment periods. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, I will explain it on another video. But yeah, there's only going to be a certain amount of people. Not everybody's going to get access to me. Okay. Because I just have too much things going on to have access to too many people. Okay. Valentina says, I am trying to learn about transits. That's what you should be learning. This is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to also teach you how to create an astrology log and record. So you can go back to this information, and what you can do is you can follow along with the transits and learn that way as well too. Okay. Wendy asks, do we need to know our birth time to find out further more in regards to our own sign planets? Yes. And that's what I'm going to be going in depth about on the courses as well on the channel. Not everything is going to be about the course. I mean, if let's say you don't care to have a course, maybe you don't care to be a student or enroll in the course, that's fine too. You can just subscribe and follow along with us and learn that way as well too. Here's the thing that I want you to know. You're your own person. Nobody is ever going to tell you what to do. You're your own person, and you make the life that you want. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to say thank you everyone for joining in the video. Last and final question is from Wendy. It says, which one is best to learn first? I highly recommend learning astrology first, because astrology is the ancient foundation of the knowledge of a lot of these things. Like, for example, human design is very much connected to astrology. We look at the mandala. This is a mandala. This is based on astrology, right? So I highly recommend you learn astrology first. In the next coming weeks, thank you everyone for being patient with me. I just got my new camera, so I'm going to get that up and running. We're going to have 4K video. Woohoo! We're going to also start our we're going to be doing our trivia, astrology trivia. So if you can't afford to do the courses with me, you could afford to do the trivia, where I'm going to be doing giveaways. Okay. And I will be showing you the giveaways that I'm going to be offering. We're going to be doing live. So you're going to want to make sure you share the channel with your friends, so that you're on the channel. But in order to win on the channel, you have to be subscribed. You have to be following me on Instagram, and you also have to make sure that you're commenting. Okay. I'm going to be looking at those of you who are commenting, and you're going to also have to know astrology and know, when I ask you a question, you got to be able to answer the question quickly. Okay. In order to win. So that is my announcement. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I really do appreciate, your support, your love, all your donations to the channel, and your feedback. Again, before I leave, make sure you fill out that form in the description box to give me a better idea of who you are and why you are subscribed to the channel. Okay, so Monica Love here at the Blackout. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.